Oh, alright, what's up Dragon Brood? We are trying to keep hammering out all these decks for new Capenna so you are ready to go when the set goes live and you have lots of decks to pick from. Today, we're going to be taking a look. I don't even know why I'm building this, but we're going to be playing Devilish Valet. And I know, the card, it looks ridiculous. The question is, can we make it work? I think we may have found a way to do it while also working in some other fun stuff in this deck list. So, let's go take a look at what a Gruul deck looks like that could be featuring Devilish Valet. If you're looking for quality binders, sleeves, dice, deck boxes, or other supplies, be sure to check out Ultra Pro's Smoke Gray collection this month over at shop.ultrapro.com/PowrDragn and use promo code PowrDragn to save 5%. Okay, so first thing, like all the deck lists we're going to be putting up, let me say that we are experimenting with cards, so yes, these deck lists could change. There's a chance they'll change before I even play them on a video. I don't know yet, but this is kind of how we're concepting of a lot of stuff. If you want to see me play them, there will be footage of a lot of these. I'm going to be playing most of these on the early access event. I have no idea what order all these videos are going to go out, but you can always check that footage. We will have the streams on the sites if you want to go back and follow up and watch those. So, for starters here, we have quite a few things we're trying to do. The first thing is going to be, we want to make use of Valet, so we need to get those triggers from its Alliance ability. But we also want to be taking advantage of easier ways to get damage in with the Valet other than that, because doubling from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 4 isn't all that much, especially since the Valet would just be like a 4/3 at that point. That's not that big, right? So how do we get to do more damage? And then, do we have other things that would allow us to hold on and get a win another way, even if we don't get the Valet? So let's check and see what we're working with here. So we're starting with 4 Goldhound. This is one of the new cards. It's a 1 mana 1/1 with First Strike and Menace, and you can sacrifice it and get mana of any color. The card itself is a treasure, but this will help us kind of advance our mana for a few different reasons, if we think it's absolutely necessary. Now, be aware on this, you do have to tap it and sacrifice it. You can't just sacrifice it because, but it does help, and there are a couple of situations where it having Menace could actually matter. We're also going to play a full set of Tamiyo Safekeeping. If we're going to go through the effort of playing something like Devilish Valet or some of these other cards we're going to get to, we would like to be able to protect them as best we can, or else it kind of just blows up the whole process of what we're trying to do. Antagonize. This is a card that, like, I think a bunch of y'all ain't really played with Giant Growth because people seem to just be ignoring this card. But it's, now admittedly, Giant Growth was 1 green for a 3/3, but this is 2 mana for a 4/3, and you can use it on offense or defense. And it's an instant. So it gives us maximum flexibility possible. And think about the fact that if we play this on a Devilish Valet, well, now Valet is a 5, and we double that to 10, and maybe to 20, that's how we can get the job done. So it's just kind of one other tool we're adding to the deck that gives us a little bit of versatility. But also, on a key turn, if you have to play this on a Goldhound, you get to attack for 5 that has Menace and First Strike. That ain't nothing either, so, you know, pay attention to all this, because I did everything I could to get as many cards in here that work together. Then we got Prosperous Innkeeper. This is just mostly to ramp our game up. But we do have a little bit of a combo that could help us gain a bunch of life, so we're going to keep that in mind. We are playing 4 Shatter Skull Smashing because we're kind of skimping on mana a little bit, but I wanted to squeeze in a little bit of removal because we're playing so many cards to kind of assist each other that we don't have a lot of room for removal, so I just went with the one place I thought we could do it. We're playing a couple of Florahedrons because, well, we just wanted some extra mana, and this allows us to have mana or a creature as needed. So when we don't need land, the fact that it's a creature actually works very well with the Valet. So we want to go that way. Now, one of the cards that's pretty key to this combo that can help us out is Burji, God of Storytelling. For those of you who don't know what Burji is, it's 2 colorless and a red for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, you get an additional red mana and until end of turn, and you don't lose that mana when you move phases. The interesting thing about this is that you can play this alongside a card like Grinning Ignis. Now, Grinning Ignis is 2 colorless and 1 red for a 2/2, and then you can pay a red to return it to your hand. When you do, you get 2 generic mana and a red. Now, this is important because that's exactly what you need to recast the Ignis. So when you cast the Ignis, you get 1 red mana from Burji, You can spend that 1 red mana to return the Ignis to your hand. You can recast the Ignis. You get the 1 red mana. You can turn so on and so on. This does 2 different things. This could allow us to either get infinite life from the Prosperous Innkeeper. Just do it 4,000 times, and we get 4,000 life. Or if we have the Devilish Valet, you do it like 10 times and you just kill your opponent. Because it's just going to double from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 10, or actually 8 to 16. What did I say 10 for? But 16 to 32, 32 to 64, 64 to 128, 28 to 2, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gets way out of hand and you kill your opponent pretty easily. Because you have trample on the Devilish Valet. Now, for those who don't know what Devilish Valet is, it's one of the new cards, a 2 colorless and a red. For a 1/3, trample and haste, alliances, every time a creature enters the battlefield, you get to double its power. So these are just a couple of different ways that the cards interact with each other very cleanly throughout the deck. And I wanted there to be multiple uses for everything because I didn't want to just have everything leaning on the Valet only, even though that was the impetus for building the deck. Now, looking at the other cards we're playing, we've been playing 4 Scoot Swarm. And if you played any amount of Arena in the last 2 years, you kind of know what Scoot Swarm is, but it's 2 colorless and a green. It's a 1/1. Every time a land enters the battlefield, you get to make a 1/1 plant token, I think it is, and then 1/1 green insect. And then whenever you have 6 land and that comes into play, then you just copy Scoot Swarm, which then means, of course, again, it's another way you can go get a ton of damage in on the Devilish Valet. It's another way that you can get a bunch of life off of an Innkeeper. Love it, right? Well, we're going to also try playing Topiary Stomper. And again, this is another card that kind of assists everything in the deck, but this lets us get other lands into play that can actually trigger the Scoot Swarm. Now, Topiary Stomper is a 3 mana 4/4. It has Vigilance, which is nice. And when it comes into play, you get to search your deck for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. However, you can't attack or block until you have 7 lands. So, a little bit of a pain in the butt. However, we do have a way that kind of circumvents that, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now, we are playing 3 Esca's Chariots, and that's because everyone that comes into play creates 2 creatures, which helps Innkeeper, also helps Valet, so we don't mind this at all, and it's a good card to have after a sweeper, so we kind of like everything this is going on. Which, by the way, remember, you can still use Topiary Stomper to crew the Chariot, if nothing else. So, just 1 card to crew the Chariot is actually pretty sweet, even if you don't have 7 lands. Now, one of the ways we're going to get around that issue with the Topiary Stomper is to actually have a Shia. Now, the way this works is a Shia is 3 colorless, green, for an XX creature where X is equal to the number of lands you control, and all non-token creatures you have count as lands. Now, what that means is, you could on turn 3, even if you had nothing else, turn 3, you play your Topiary Stomper, you put a land into play, so now you have 4 lands. If you have a land from your hand, you put it into play, that's 5 lands. Then you play a Shia now counts itself and your Topiary Stomper, and magically, you have 7 things, and now you can attack with your Vigilance Topiary Stomper. A little bit gimpy, yes, totally agree, but it works, and then every creature or land, either or, that you put into play now also triggers your Scoot Swarm, which, again, also gives you bonuses from Innkeeper and from the Valet. So now you see kind of like everything's working together in this deck to really do everything we need to do. So super happy about that. And then we are playing 1 copy of Phylath, World Sculptor. Phylath is 4 colorless, a red and a green for a 5/5. When it enters the battlefield, you make a number of 0/1 plant tokens equal to the number of basic lands you control. And then when a land comes into play, you get to put 4 counters on a plant. So this is actually kind of the best I think I could do to make this work, but if you look through the deck, just about every card really helps every other card. So we're really excited about that, and we'll just have to see how it comes together. Now, talking about lands, it's a pretty tight and simple list because we needed to have at least a modest number of basics, both to be able to search out for Topiary Stomper and also to be able to trigger Phylath when you draw it. Granted, we only have 1 Phylath, but we do have 3 Topiary Stompers, so we didn't want to get caught where we couldn't go fetch out something. So, to that end, we're playing 4 Cragcrown Pathway, 1 Den of the Bugbear, 1 Lair of the Hydra. We're playing 3 Rockfall Vale. We have 5 basic forest and 3 basic mountains. And I think that should take care of everything we want to do, considering we also have the Shatter Skull Smashing and the 2 Florahedrons. Shouldn't keep us from getting into too much trouble there. So I will say, if we're really trying to make the focus the Devilish Valet, then I would say maybe find a way to add some other creature pump spell. I'm not sure what I'd really want it to be, but you want it to be something that's like a +3, +4, +5, really to make it worth it whenever you double even that one time. Now the other thing is, we don't necessarily have to get it all done with the Valet. It's possible we get a few points of damage in early, your opponent's at 12 to 15, and then maybe you get a couple of lucky doubles or something there, and that's enough to kill them. But we could also end up with other long games too, where we're just killing people with Scoot Swarm variations, things with Ashaya. So who knows? There's a bunch of different ways this could work out, but we're actually kind of excited about how this could work. So I'm crossing my fingers and hope this actually does everything we want to do, because it looks hella fun, and out of the blue, you're going to win a couple of games just because you're going to get the combo and go off. So I could have gone heavier on the combo, which, I mean, to be fair, we could probably cut like a Scoot Swarm and maybe take out Phylath as a whole, and maybe just play one more Bergie and one more Ignis. So if you want to do that, go ahead. It kind of makes sense. But I kind of wanted to try all these other parts out and just see what happens. This is pretty cool. I mean, let's be honest, like this is a neat card that we've not really had anything like this, so we'll see how it works out. But as always, remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and choose all notifications so you don't miss all these deck videos we have coming out, because I have a lot. I think I have like 6 more still that I'm rushing to get out the door, so y'all have them in your hands before the set goes live on Thursday. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.